We're now going to go to Gabrielle Webster. Gabrielle is a native of my hometown, Baltimore. As I mentioned, she's a graduate of Western High School, an excellent high school in Baltimore. And she is now the president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington. So Gabrielle, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to meet you.
She is a graduate of Atlanta University and Xavier University. She's a master's from Atlanta University in physical chemistry and also a degree in chemistry from Xavier University. Did you think you were going to be a chemist, or what happened?
I was a chemist for a few years, but after my career path led me to nonprofit, I realized that this was where I was supposed to be. Chemistry was a great stepping stone, however.
Okay, so you've been involved in the nonprofit area at a number of organizations in this area: Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, American Heart Association, and United Way. So what is it about Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington that attracted you to become the president of it?
Sure. As the daughter and granddaughter of educators, it is important and always has been for me to be able to help our children. And so Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington gives me that opportunity every day. I get to work with the majority of our kids, Black and brown, many of them free and reduced lunch, that really need our support. And it's an opportunity to make an amazing impact each and every day. I always quote Frederick Douglass, who says, "It's easier to build strong children than repair broken men." And that's truly what we do each and every day with our young people.
So how many young people and what ages do you have in the clubs? How many people do you help a year in your clubs?
Sure. We support ages 5 through 18 and about 21,000 per year. We have kids coming 1 million times through our doors each and every year. Many of our kids come 4 or 5 times per week. We have now started virtual programming as we have had to pivot during the pandemic. So we do in-person as well as virtual.
Okay, so what is your annual budget?
So we're about $10 million right now, but of course, the more revenue that we raise, the more opportunity for us to support more children. Our dollars are very much in proportion with the number of kids that we can serve.
So do you get money from the U.S. government, the local governments in this area? Where do you get your money from?
Sure, we get quite a bit of revenue from the local, state, and federal governments, as well as through foundations, corporations, special events, and individuals. I will say we have had a strong push on to increase the support from individuals as well as foundations. And that's been one of the major things that we've been doing the past 2 or 3 years.
So if somebody wants to contribute to you, what do? They call you up, they email you? What size donations are you looking for?
They can call, they can email, they can reach out to me at any time or go to our website. We are easy to find at Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington, and we take all size donations. Of course, the more zeros and commas, the more kids that we can help. Right now, we are experiencing just the most challenging times because our kids are in the midst of 2 pandemics. We've got one that's COVID-19, 4 months old, but we have another one that is centuries old. And because of that, our kids are at a disadvantage all the time. Social and racial injustices are a part of their everyday life. So it is important for us to support these kids. So we would really appreciate anyone and everyone really being able to support this organization.
What is your website?
bgcgw.org.
Okay. And
Yes.
So you have physical facilities in the Washington area. How many do you have?
Sure, we have 4 in Washington and 15 in the Greater Washington area, suburban Maryland, as well as Northern Virginia. I will say that right now we actually have 7 locations open and serving youth, and we have been open for the last 4 months. We closed in March when the school systems closed, but we found a way, following all of the CDC guidelines of social distancing and PPE, to be able to open safely to still support our kids and provide some sense of normalcy to them in a time where things are so very uncertain for them.
So the people that you serve, how many of them come from single parent families or or have other kinds of disadvantages similar to that?
Yeah, well over half of our youth are from single parent households, and many of those, usually a mom has to work. And so how can they go out and make a living if there's no place safe for their kids to be? And frankly, we're not babysitters at Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington. We provide some of the best youth development programming that you can imagine. We expose young people to many things. We provide career information, resume writing. We do much more than just sports. Everything is focused on academic success, good character and leadership, as well as healthy lifestyles.
So the boys are separate and from the girls, or are they kind of in one club?
No, it's been quite a few years now. We used to be just the boys clubs, but now we have girls there, and the balance is about equal, about 65% boys and 45% girls.
And what percentage of the people that you have coming to the clubs have high-speed internet at home?
Not a lot of them. And that is one of the challenges that they face. And one of the reasons that when we pivoted and created our virtual platform, we made certain that they could do this on their phones. That is the challenge. And whether kids go back to school or not this fall, virtual learning is going to be a challenge. If you are poor, you may not have a computer, you may not have internet, you may not have someone at home that can provide you the tutoring that you need to stay up with your coursework. And there is a great concern that these kids' learning loss will be much more significant than a month or two.
So you're trained in chemistry. I assume you could be working at a large chemical company and making a lot more money. So why are you doing this?
It is my passion. When I came to nonprofit, I really wanted to make a difference. And when I came to Boys and Girls Clubs 3 years ago, I really expected to like my job, but I didn't expect to fall in love with these young people to the degree that I have. And once you meet them and see just how you affect their lives, over half of our kids say that the Boys and Girls Club saved their lives. When I talked to one of our young people who used to be so shy, she wouldn't even speak, but now she's a standout at the Performing Arts School here in DC, or one of our very famous alumni, he's become famous recently, is the first Black student body president at Yale University in their many hundreds of years in existence. So we have stories of so many children that have succeeded. 98% of our kids graduate from high school on time, and 94% go to college, oftentimes the first in their family to do so. I mean,
So
how could you not want to work here?
the Washington business community, do you think they've done enough to help you, or they're not as actively involved as you think they should be?
Well, I would certainly love for them to be much more involved, but I think it's up to us to be able to share what we do with them, and for them to understand that we are important to their community. As we are talking about racial justice now, think about the impact that you can have on young lives. I think that forgiveness comes with accountability. And when we write in the history books, when we go through this particular cultural moment, we'll be judged by what we did, not the conversations that we had. So I urge all of them to reach out to me, to us. Unfortunately, it's hard to do things in person, but there's a Zoom call a minute. Please give me a call and let's talk.
Okay. And today, how do you relate to to the Boys and Girls Club of the United States? Isn't there a parent organization, or do they give you money, or they just tell you what to do, or how does that work?
Yeah, Boys and Girls Clubs of America is our parent. We're a member organization, but Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington is our own 501c3. We do get some support from them. They also advocate on our behalf, but we are our own nonprofit and are responsible for our own budget, expenses, and all of the things that happen here in the DC area.
I see. And have you had families affected by COVID having contracted it who are members?
We have heard of a couple of instances of some of our kids, family members having had it, but as far as I know, we've been very fortunate that none of our staff or youth have been seriously affected. But I do know one young lady's mom passed.
Okay. So You live in the, you told me earlier, Upper Marlboro, and I asked you whether there was a Lower Marlboro. You said no, but you cover the entire Washington, Maryland, and DC area. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So what's a final message you would like to give to the members of the Economic Club of Washington that you would just say, this is the most important thing they should know about your organization?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we make a tremendous impact on our youth. It is an opportunity for them to be exposed to so many things, to be able to leave our clubs and go on and create a great future, a wonderful life for themselves. And everyone in this community could provide support and help to ensure that those dreams become their realities. It's just an amazing organization, and I think people tend to underestimate just how much we actually do. So I ask them to reach out and learn more and support the kids of this community.
Okay, well, Gabrielle, I want to thank you very much. As I mentioned, you're from my hometown. I also have a daughter named Gabrielle, so we have those connections, and we both went to big public high schools in Baltimore. So thank you very much for what you're doing, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Take care.
Okay.